All right, we still have another hour after from 8 to 9, and I'm having my good friend Alan Skillicorn come in. He is a former state representative. We're going to talk about the Madigan trial because we served during that time frame. And then we're also going to turn, since he now lives in Arizona, we're going to talk about what's happening on the border there.
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, to talk about this and what's happening in Arizona in regards to the election is Alan Skillicorn. Alan, thanks so much for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having me, Jeannie.
Yeah. So how is it going in Arizona with your elections, election integrity, voter turnout, and anything else that you've noticed?
Well, I can talk a lot about voter turnout. I mean, Republicans and activists really have worked hard this last, even, not just last month, longer than that, because basically, since, all summer long, they have worked hard. We've been encouraging people to actually get their ballots in. And right now, Republicans have a significant lead in the ballots that are already turned in. Of course, we haven't counted them. We don't know who they voted for, but we do know that the people that have turned in their ballots, there's a primary of people who voted or sent in their ballots or voted in person or dropped them off. Primarily, they are Republicans. There's actually a nearly 100,000 vote lead here in Arizona right now, and that is a big, big deal because in the past, Democrats have swamped and done early voting, but it's this time actually the Republicans are ahead. And as long as we keep our foot on the gas and we keep on doing this, it's going to look very good in Arizona. And we all know that Arizona is, in play. It's a swing state, and from that standpoint, it's the first time that I've really seen a presidential election in a swing state. I mean, there's advertising everywhere. The airwaves are all full of, not just, Trump versus, Cami, but also we have, Kari Lake versus the son of a Chicago gangster. And those commercials are on every TV channel, every YouTube, whenever I listen to a podcast, it starts off with these crazy ads. And so that just tells you what a couple $100 million in advertising will do. It just swamps everything.
Yeah, no, well, you know how it is in Illinois. We're getting swamped too by ads. I pull up YouTube and what do I get? I am not kidding you. I get first time Democrat state rep candidates running YouTube ads, which are really expensive, running YouTube ads. I mean, that's how they want to win at all cost, and they don't care that they have super majorities. They even want stronger majorities here. The money they're spending here in the state of Illinois to just control it all is appalling. And of course, they're lying with every ad that they put up.
Yeah, and if one thing is of note that if people that are your hardcore listeners would get is here in Arizona, we have a nonpartisan redistricting committee. And one of their goals is to make the legislature and the congressional districts more competitive. But there is in Illinois, that would be a good thing, right? Because the Democrats just draw a really solid map that benefits Democrats. But here, you've got these do-gooder independents that want competitive districts. You know what competitive means? That they're more expensive races. And you know who has the power in more expensive races? The special interests. So, yeah, we have the district that I happen to live in is very, very Republican. So we do not have a competitive legislature race. But just in Scottsdale, just next to me, I've been knocking on doors there, and literally the Democrats and Democrat special interests are spending $2 to $3 million per Democrat in that particular district, smearing the Republicans, lying about the Republicans, and it's a district that leans, 1 or 2 points Republican, so it's very competitive.
That's a state rep? That's a state.
More expensive.
That's a state legislative race, or
yeah.
Oh wow, they're spending the money like they do in Illinois.
Yeah, and the legislature pays $25,000 a year here.
Yeah, and they're spending $2 to $3 million to get that seat. Yeah, because it's more. It's about power and control. And by the way, it's not like the Democrat Party is spending that money. It is what you said. It's a special interest race at that point because it's the unions that are spending the money, and they're giving it to the Democrats, and the Democrats are turning around and giving it to their candidates to win elections. It is a special interest race. That's what it is. It's a game against the people. That and everybody needs to be aware of that's going on.
Yeah, and we've got. There's other things that are competitive here. Of course, the Democrats have put a a late-term abortion. Basically, make Arizona the capital of late-term abortions in the entire country. And get this, it wouldn't even be doctors doing abortions. Veterinarians could do abortions. Yoga instructors could do abortions. Chiropractors could do abortions. Dental hygienists actually could do abortions. And they could be late-term. How many, not only the children that'll die, but how many women will die because of the craziness they put on the ballot here. And that one, we pray that it doesn't pass, but the polls say it probably will. But we do have a couple good ones. We have a proposition that'll actually make crossing the border legally a crime, a state crime, so that our county sheriffs can arrest people. That's something that probably will pass, but that's something we absolutely need here because we cannot let our country just be overrun by invaders.
Oh, well, that is actually happening, and I just did a border event on Tuesday with Rodney Scott, former chief of the Border Patrol, and Sarah Carter, Fox News contributor. Her specialty is immigration right now, plus she has done all the terrorism reporting too. So when we get back from this break, I want to talk to you about that border, and then we're going to turn to the Madigan trial after that. So hold on, folks. Don't turn the dial. This is Jeannie Ives with The Real Story, and Alan Skillicorn, my good friend.
You're listening to The Real Story with your host, Jeannie Ives.
Oh, welcome back, and thanks for joining me tonight. On the phone with me is still former state representative Alan Skillicorn. He was a state representative with me in Illinois. He now lives in Arizona, which is a swing state and a border state. And, Alan, we just recently had Rodney Scott, like I was saying before, and Sarah Carter at a border a town hall. It was really, really well done. I want everybody to listen to this clip. This is Rodney Scott.
In late 1993, going into 94, President Clinton said enough is enough. We need to be able to control who and what is coming into our country because the cartels are starting to get control of the border. So we built a strategy to literally prevent crime by building border walls, building technology, hiring more agents, and patrolling the border. We created deterrence to prevent illegal entries. That sounds a lot like immigration, but what it really did was it took away the distraction from the cartels. Because the cartels use illegal aliens more than they actually make money off of them. They do make billions of dollars, but that's not the primary focus. The primary focus is they need human shields to be in the first wave so they can shape the border. They overwhelm law enforcement. So every cop on the border gets distracted with that big group of people. And then anybody that's willing to pay the cartel extra money to not be fingerprinted by U.S. law enforcement or any non-renewable resource. And that's a weird term, but think about this from the cartel's perspective. Human beings, even if they make it, they call home and they tell everybody it worked. Now the cartel has free marketing. If they get caught and sent back, they get them again, they come again. Narcotics, commodities, human trafficking, like sex slaves or forced labor, they're not renewable. They want to keep those. They do not want them to get apprehended. So they keep them back. They push over a large group of illegal aliens into the United States, wait until we're busy, and then they bring that second wave across with very, very minimal risk of getting caught.
All right. So, Alan, is that your experience down in Arizona? Have you seen some of this? And is this, I would think this would be the top issue for Arizonans, but I don't know.
So I would echo those comments, but also emphasize them. So Border Patrol does not stop anyone from crossing the border. Effectively, Border Patrol props the door open for whoever. I've personally been at the border and watched hundreds of military-aged men. And literally, like there was a group of 200, no women, not a single woman, all military-aged men, mostly from Kigali. Basically, the Border Patrol agents, they're just there to facilitate it. All they're doing is holding their hands, getting them, across the border, getting them the paperwork they need to ask for asylum. They're not looking for trouble. They're not looking for the people that are committing the crimes. They're not actually doing what they need to do because the Harris-Biden administration got them doing this busy work of letting the third world into the United States. It is a shame, and we say that we know about 300,000 children that are missing. What about the ones we don't know about? That's even worse, right? And effectively, the Border Patrol is so overworked with just doing this game of letting people into our country that we don't even know about the bad guy. And that should worry everyone. The fentanyl is coming across, the sex slavery that's coming across. There's some bad stuff. And effectively, the cartels run our border.
Well, that's what they've definitely said before. So what's the deal? I would think this would be the top issue. Is it for voters down there, or is it the economy and inflation?
It's a big issue here.
Okay.
Even Democrats say they're tough on border. I mean, why do you think that Kamala Harris is lying about the border and saying that she wants a strong border? She does not want a strong border. She raised her hand to offer asylum to anyone that comes to the border.
She's such a liar.
That's where she really stands. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If the American public is stupid enough to let her get into office, who do you think she's going to hire to run the border? Who do you think she's going to hire to handle FEMA? Who do you think she's going to hire to do this stuff? The people that do not have our best interests.
She's such a fraud. She's the most incompetent candidate ever. And I wouldn't even put her on a city council, for heaven's sakes. She's awful, absolutely awful. Well,
and it is interesting. So, I mean, I talked. So she was a local, district attorney, right?
Yes.
I talked to people that have been local district attorneys, and to think that, to do the unmentionable things that she's done over the years has put her on a pathway to be the most powerful person in the most powerful person on earth.
It's a joke.
Scary.
It's a real joke.
I mean, just imagine, but that progression, the county attorney, and then AG of California, and then I always thought the AG of a big state like that would be someone that was pretty competent, right? I would always think that a U.S. senator should be someone who's pretty competent, but she is like the definition of incompetent.
Okay, but honestly, she's just the same as what we've seen in Illinois, and you know this too. They are tools for somebody else's larger agenda, and that includes people like Mike Madigan when he was in office. His colleagues, quote unquote colleagues, his minions were just tools for his bigger agenda, and now it's all coming apparently unraveling. I don't actually know that this ends in a conviction for him, because I think they've got a long ways to prove that some of this stuff, it depends on what's on tapes. We haven't heard it all yet. But, Madigan's facing this child for, and Rick Pierce, the Chicago Tribune wrote this article about the trial. And they said essentially that he's charged, he faces charges he abused his life or death power over legislation, which is true, to squeeze out the ComEd and AT&T in a series of contracts and jobs for his political cronies while the utilities had major legislative packages pending. That's exactly right. That's what he did. He always squeezed everybody. Everybody knew that. And then this article goes on to say that the business of lobbying, the pushing and pulling of lawmakers to accept the position of special interest, gets fast and furious in the State House hallways. Lobbying is perfectly legal, but the lines are blurry, the activity is secretive, and the arguments that carry the day can be cloaked in a separate layer of political haze. I mean, honestly, nothing's changed down there. It's the same. Everybody knew this, right? Everybody knew that ComEd Exxon bailout bill in 2016. Everybody knew exactly that people were getting quote unquote paid off, or they paid off Madigan. They paid him off in campaign contributions to him and his minions, right? I mean, everybody knew this. Alan?
Yeah, it's clear as day, and I can't believe that he's being prosecuted. To be honest with you, knowing how corrupt the system was and how powerful he was. I mean, I really think that the scam of global warming has now come to an end, because hell has indeed frozen over, Jeannie. So those hundreds of thousands of polar bears, I know where they are. They're all residing in hell, because hell is now a winter wonderland. Because this is shocking. Can you believe that the all-powerful and corrupt Michael Madigan is going to face justice? I mean, frankly, I didn't believe justice existed this side of heaven, but maybe just a little sliver of it does.
No, I think it's gonna. I don't know that he gets convicted. I really don't. I'm not sure the hell's frozen over yet, but he is getting put on trial. My point, though, is everybody knows what the lobbyists do. Everybody, you can just look at the campaign accounts. They're buying votes. The teacher unions buy his votes. SEIU, AFSCME, Local 150, all of them. It's obvious.
Yeah. Well, when you make government so powerful that the lobbyists and special interests line up to get help from the government,
right?
You know who actually controls the government. It's those special interests. Yeah,
we're ending the conversation just as we started the conversation. That's who's being. There are some good representatives that are independent of their donor class, definitely, or that don't take those types of donations because honestly they don't vote for those special interests, so they're not getting those types of donations. Those are the people you need to figure out who they are and support them further. But I got to tell you, I just think this whole Madigan trial is a little bit of why aren't you looking under the rug right now of what's going down there in Springfield? Last word.
Yeah, it's just disgusting. So much in Illinois, it leaves a bad taste in my stomach.
Yes.
If your listeners live in a competitive district, they need to get out and vote. But there's another thing. If you don't live, if you're in Cook County or you're one of the districts in DuPage that's turned hard left, and you have a winter house in Florida or Arizona or someplace in a competitive state, you need to register to vote in that other state, and you need to not waste your vote in Illinois. That's all I'll say.
All right. He's Alan Skillicorn. Thank you so much for joining me on The Real Story tonight. Really appreciate your insight on all this. And guys, we'll be right back. We've got a lot to talk about with the Edgar County Watchdog.